Do you guys hear that?
Is that boss music?
Go naked and just go with the sword, and that's it.
What do I do with all this?
It says it in the title.
I'm a slut for roguelites.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the Unearthing Games Podcast. I'm your lead excavator, Nick, and today I'm joined by Erica.
Hi.
And we dig games. So, how's it going, Erica? What you been up to this week? I know last week we didn't really have a whole lot going on outside of the norm.
Yeah, pretty normal. I think we played a few rounds of Sagrada this week, so we got some of that in. And then we've been playing Stardew.
The video game, not the board game.
Yes.
Although we do want to go back to play the board game, but what, your dad's going to help, or I was going to say he's going to help us. Your dad's making us a larger tabletop, because our current tabletop setup is one that we made, again, this time with the help of your dad.
Yeah, I was going to say, my dad still did pretty much all of it. But
Your dad this time, though, is going, and he's just going to go do it all.
Yeah.
So, because we figured that when we played Stardew Valley the first time, it took up the entire table.
Yeah.
So hopefully with a bigger table, it won't take up the whole thing.
Yeah, we're getting a bigger table. So hopefully once that's done, we'll be able to play more of that without taking up the entire kitchen table that we have.
Yeah, hopefully. So what else you been up to?
I think that's about it. Not too much. Been trying to find new things to crochet and knit, and I have a few ideas, so I'm excited to start those, but that's pretty much it. I haven't been up to a lot this week.
Yeah. I like how we had a disagreement on your current project, how I was like, it doesn't need sleeves. It'd be really kick-ass without it, and it'd be like a cool, long vest thing.
Yeah.
And you were like, no. And now you're making sleeves, and it's got poofy sleeves. It still looks cute, but we just disagreed on the level of cuteness.
Yeah, it's still cute. I think I do want to make a vest. Maybe not in that same stitch pattern, but in a different one. Because it was actually pretty easy to make as far as the body of it. The sleeves are always like an add-on at the end. So yesterday I was like, yeah, it probably would have looked good without sleeves. But I'm already here. One's done and I'm working on the next one. So
no takesy backsies.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, there was that. I mean, other than that, I haven't really been up to a whole lot. Been playing the game I'm going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. We've been playing Stardew. Like, I was watching someone on Twitch play Stardew Valley, but he's, like, in the end game. And remember, I was all like, oh, yeah, there's this really big update that, like, refreshes all of Stardew Valley and adds end game content, and, like, apparently it adds a ton.
Yeah.
But it's, like, legit end game content. Like, you can't get there until the community center's done.
And you've been judged.
And all that. And I was like, man. So I've been pushing really hard for us to play Stardew Valley. And so we started, the Pepperidge Farm.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to play Stardew right now. We can just stop recording and go play.
I mean, honestly, we'll probably, like, stop recording today and then, like, immediately start playing Stardew Valley. And I have no regrets, no remorse.
I got my controller right here. It's ready. We did get a new controller. I finally got a USB controller for my computer because I have one of those Bluetooth dongle things, but my mouse and my keyboard are Bluetooth, and then the controller is Bluetooth. And it has issues. Even with just the mouse and controller, like, it'll work for a bit, and then it'll just stop. And if you were pressing something when it decided to stop, it's going to continue with whatever it was pressing. So I obviously can't play games like that. It's upsetting.
Yeah. I've had that happen before. I think it might have been something Bluetooth related. It could be that we both have, like, the cheap USB dongle guys where it just looks like a little receiver that you plug in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I want to find what the right way it is, what the right way is to do Bluetooth on a computer. Because, like, I mean, I built it. There's so many spots that are open on it. Like, I could easily add, like, a card or something to it. I don't know how it works, but
I have no idea. In my mind, that feels like a waste, but, like, to have, like, a whole PCI slot taken up by a Bluetooth transceiver. But, like, if it makes it work better, Because, like, maybe it has to do with, since it's USB, maybe the way the power cycles or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've built a computer, but really, building a PC is 90% like plug and play nowadays.
Yeah, it is.
As long as you can find, tab A to slot B and you connect them, it works.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about technology.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Other than, like, I can tell you that, like, more gigabytes is more gooder.
Yeah.
In, like, every conceivable version of the word.
Mm-hmm.
More gigabytes is more.
Yeah.
But that's about all I know.
And my RAM is pretty. That's all I could tell.
Oh, yeah, you got that sweet, like, RGB crystal RAM.
Yeah.
So it sparkles.
It's very pretty. But yeah, other than that, I don't know much about computers, and I just bought the cheap USB dongle just to use it. And now, like I said, it's like my mouse and keyboard are Bluetooth, and I have the dongles that came with them, but they're at the office that I work at, and I obviously haven't been there for over a year now, so they're just stuck there in the filing cabinet. Like, I know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
So I can't get to those. Obviously, that would probably make it better if they had their own dedicated dongles to connect to.
Maybe. I don't know.
But I still want to have, like, Bluetooth. Like, I bought a speaker, and it has the ability to be Bluetooth. And
does it give you grief much or not really?
I felt like he did. And that's why I stopped using it, because they would all, like, stutter at
because
certain points.
Now you have it hardwired in. You actually have an aux cord, right?
Yeah, now it's got an aux cord.
To the speaker.
Yeah.
So we probably just need to do more research. You are, like, the master Googler of the house.
Yeah.
Every time I have an issue, I'm like, can you Google this? Because I can't find the answer. And you type it in, and you're like, oh, you mean this? And you send me an article, and I'm like, yeah, that. So we just need to look into it and see.
Yeah, because I do like my Bluetooth controller. It's a nice white one. I have it right here still.
Yeah, he looks really great.
Like
he has
frosty.
I was going to say a nice frosted look to it. Yeah.
And he matches my PC case is white, which also was such a hassle to build, because finding white components is so hard. Like,
it's so dumb where it's like, hey, we've got identical graphics cards. One's black, one's white. The white is like $200 more.
Yeah, it was
because we hate you. Don't. It's like, if you're not being all black and edgy, then you don't build PCs. It's only for people with edge.
That makes me sad. Like, I do like all the white stuff. The one thing I'm sad about is the case fans that I have. Like, I got they fit, but they're bigger, where I could fit 3 of the 120s. I think I have 2 of the 150s, and so. But they're the only white ones.
Those maglev fans that are so quiet.
Yeah, they're the Corsair maglev ones, and I want that because they are so quiet, but I can't find any in white that are smaller.
Yeah, like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous that, like, when my PC turns off, the room noticeably gets quieter.
Yeah, it's like a white noise machine that's always on.
Seriously, like, it doubles as a space heater also, but a white noise machine too. There you go. So you could sleep easily in this room and just be like, peaceful. But yeah, Stardew Valley.
Yeah,
that's mainly what we've been up to. I have become obsessed with. I really want to make dice towers.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, but I really want to make things out of wood. Nerdy things. So, like, I've been, like, looking into those. What was it? It's like a computer operated wood router. I think is what it has a funny long name, but, like, because you can get a wood router that's just a guy that you hand move him across the thing to cut depths and dimensions and sizes, but you can get one that's computer driven. Yeah,
it's like it's a CNC router is what they're called.
There you go.
A computer numerical control router.
That. But basically, like, you hook this machine, it's like a big tabletop machine that you hook it up to your computer, and you can upload a program and have it, like, do you want it to cut the like the Lord of the Rings, the tree crest from wow, I have to turn in my nerd card. The name of the human city at the end, I can't think of it, but the Lord of the Rings tree logo. You want that cut into some wood? You can, like, make it in this program and upload it, and then you line up your piece of wood in the center of the table, and the little robotic arm starts moving, and it's like zip, 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 like cutting the stuff. And it cuts it in. And I think that's so amazing. Like, I could never do that by hand.
You could.
No, I do like this my hand, I could never be a surgeon because I can't cut a straight line to save my life, let alone somebody else's. But that's what I really want. If I ever having a couple $1,000s lying around.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
But it's so cool. I have to like clear off this whole half of the table so I can have my router guy sitting there, you know?
You're gonna make our office all sawdusty.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen in here. We basically would have to turn our garage into a workshop.
Yeah.
Basically.
So your car can park outside.
Yeah, it's a thing. That's just, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. But yeah, other than that, I don't think really been up to much.
Nope.
Very, very excited to just try new things. Honestly, we did get the we were playing Sagrada, and so on a whim I bought the Sagrada expansion.
Yeah, the 5 to 6 player expansion.
Yeah, and then I started reading about all the other ones. They have like a whole series called The Great Facades. Mm-hmm. That I think they look really cool. They're supposed to add whole new game mechanics and everything, but we're not there yet. Nope. I got the 5 to 6 player one so that like whenever we go meet my family and all that, all of us can play. Maybe my niece can actually try it out too. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, she can roll dice, right? Colors, numbers, and it's 1 through 6. She's got 1 through 6 down. You know?
Yes, definitely.
I'm pretty sure she's there. So, all right. But so enough about what we've been up to this week. Erica, why don't you tell us about the game you played?
Oh, yes. I was too busy admiring Kiora in the background. Okay, so the game that I played this week is called Rituals, and this is developed by Timon Zagansky and published by Mudvark. And this is tagged as an adventure indie point-and-click puzzle game. So yeah, it's a really... I like the art style of this game. It's very minimalistic, but...
It's got that low poly feel to it again.
Maybe I just like low poly things. But yeah, so it's a point-and-click adventure, and you start off basically in this huge office building, and you're like falling asleep at your desk, and you wake up, and you have like a note on your desk or something, or you remember someone telling you, you know, don't stay too late, and make sure you turn the lights off before you leave. And then you wake up and it's like nighttime and you're asleep at your desk, and your computer has a whole bunch of numbers on it, so I'm assuming you're an accountant or something.
It was literally an Excel spreadsheet that was like $5, $4, $5, $3, and it's all that it was.
But yeah, so it's a little adventure, and you're just going through the game and trying to figure out what's going on, and it has something to do with like a Stonehenge type of energy source field type of thing. And trying to recreate that, and it was interesting. I felt like it was a little bit short, or maybe we just like there were certain situations where I had gone into, like, you're in the office to start, and I had gone into every single room that I could and read everything and picked up everything that I could. And then I got down to the exit, and it's like, oh, you need this thing. It's like, okay, well, I already have that. Like, hello. But so I could see, like, if you just walked straight and you didn't explore as much, then you could, you know, go back and redo things. But it was a cute game. I was scared. There was at one point you get it. I mean, you're in an office all alone at night, and it's dark. And so I was just, from the start, like, something's gonna pop out at me.
I mean, come on, that's like the start of plenty of horror film. You know, alone in a big, nice building.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. I don't want to say too much about the story, but yeah, there's a lot of different scenes that you go through, and the puzzles are pretty straightforward as far as I can remember. There was one that I got stuck on, and then it made sense later when we realized what happened.
and I mean, I think that was the only one we had to actually go and Google. And so, like, but when we went and Googled it, we are not the only ones to get stuck at that puzzle.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, 70% of people that play this game get stuck there.
Yeah, but, like, all the puzzles are pretty easy. Like I said, I feel like it was a little bit short. I probably missed stuff as far as the background story. I think there was, like, a a Steam achievement to read all the magazines, and I think I only read like 2 or 3.
Well, what was it? I mean, because I think we found like 2, and we found them in bathrooms, right? So it was like,
Yeah.
did you go into every bathroom stall? Well, no, I didn't go into every bathroom stall. I can't knock. What if someone's in there? You know?
No one's there. It's nighttime. Just go in.
That's true, but like, that's another question I have: is who just like if I take a magazine to the bathroom to read, you know, while I'm going to the bathroom, who just leaves that behind?
You've never, like, I feel like it was a thing back in the day. Like, I'm so old. Where you would just have magazines and stuff in the bathroom. No?
That's unsanitary.
I feel like that was a thing.
That was back in the day when they said smoking was healthy and that it was all right if you drank tons of alcohol while you're pregnant. You know, that was back in that day.
Well, that's why, like, the Dollar Shave Club, they give you, like, the bathroom digest or whatever.
Well, yeah, but you've seen that thing. It's, like, disposable. They don't expect you to bring that to the bathroom multiple times.
Magazines are disposable.
Huh?
I said magazines are disposable. Maybe it was just a thing my grandma did, but I remember there always being magazines in the bathroom.
That's different. That's grandma's house bathroom. I'm talking about like public bathrooms. These are public bathrooms.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking more like
could you imagine you're working in your corporate office and you go down to go to the bathroom and there's like 4 magazines in the bathroom?
No, that would be weird. Yeah,
that'd be weird.
I
exactly. It's like all these ones like if it was the company, they'd be like magazines about themselves. You know, drink the Kool-Aid, minions, yes.
A lot of the magazines were about the company and the building and stuff. The ones that we found were about, there was like an architecture one where it's like, oh, this office building is so state-of-the-art and it's, you know, one of a kind and whatnot. So some of them were about the company.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. I mean, I agree with you that it was very short.
I think I picked the bad ending.
There are multiple endings. We won't go into what they are.
Yeah. I think I just...
honestly, I'm not going to lie. I think it was my fault that you went with that ending.
No,
because,
I don't
we read
think
the note, and then we got to the thing, and I was like, oh, well, you want to do this. You're like, do I? And I was like, yeah. And you just click, and there you go. Yeah. So I'll take the blame for the bad ending. I'll take it. I'll dive on that grenade.
Yeah, I think we both missed a clue in the scene before. Because the scenes are also really strange. So you're like in an office building, and just by like the pictures on Steam, you're in an office building, then there's like a forest and...
a jungle. And
yeah. So, in one of the scenes, I feel like we missed one of the notes. Or we read it and didn't really take it to heart when we got to the end. And we're just like, oh, this is what we do then.
Yeah, clearly. But for $5, I think this is a fantastic experience for $5, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I told you, it felt a lot like an art project.
Yeah.
Like this is something that like somebody had to like make a game for class kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good. I think it, like even if this is a student project, it's a heck of a good student project.
Yeah.
But it felt like a student project. You know?
Yeah.
Like where it's just complicated enough that like, you know, I don't know. I really enjoyed the experience. I did. I'm glad that I actually sat and played this one with you.
Yeah.
It also gave me a lot more perspective on what the heck you're talking about in the game. Because it is a bit of a crazy fever dream as far as what's going on.
Yeah, like you go into all these different scenes and it's like, what is going on here? Like, I'm in an office building and now I'm in a forest and like, what? How does this make sense?
Yeah, it gets pretty nuts. I'm kind of sad this guy only has 17 reviews on Steam. We're going to have to go and...
They're positive, though.
No, I know, but we're going to have to go and add our own to it. That way, just give it more reviews, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's a nice game, especially for $5. Like, that's a really short sell. Especially when most games nowadays are like $30, $40, $50.
Yeah.
$5 for, you know, an evening's experience kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. I really enjoyed it and would recommend kind of thing.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, so that was Rituals. What game did you play this week?
Yeah, so Rituals was great. The game that I played, going back to my old habits, is a roguelike. Or no, roguelite. Light.
Yeah, it's tagged as like, but...
See, on mine it says both. Mm-hmm. See, and I think it's just because, like me, lots of people are confused about what that means, and you can't have two things that are very closely named like that, you know?
Yeah, it's too
There's
close.
literally one letter difference.
Yeah.
One letter. And it makes all the difference. So, the game that I played this week is called UnderMine. This is developed and published by Thorium Games. So on Steam, he's tagged as a action roguelike, a roguelite, pixel graphics, and RPG.
Yeah.
So it is not a roguelike, it is a roguelite. Gonna do the distinction again that roguelikes are similar to the original game Rogue, where every run of the game is different and no run impacts the other one. Mm-hmm. So like what you do in run 1 has no bearing on what happens in run 2.
Yeah.
It's all just procedurally generated random stuff. Mm-hmm. Roguelite has it where what you do in run 1, you can kind of like upgrade and improve yourself so you do better in run 2 and better than run 3. And you slowly get better and better at it, and that's how you work your way towards success. Mm-hmm. Like the odds of you beating the game in your first run of a roguelite is low.
Very low. Yeah, you're
Where
not meant
roguelike, if you're good at roguelikes, you could conceivably get to the end.
Yeah, you're not meant to beat it first time in a roguelite, I feel. Like it wants you to keep going and unlock this and unlock that type of thing.
Yeah. And it prides itself on that. Like it's got the kind of thing. So UnderMine is really cute. Basically, it takes place in a mine. And you control a endless army of peasants that are being thrown into this mine by some archmage. Mm-hmm. He has a name. I don't remember it. He's the archmage. I haven't gotten to the end yet. I have a feeling he's the bad guy, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Basically, it starts off with there's earthquakes shaking the mine, and he's like, something's going on. You, peasant, go into the mines and find out what's happening. I, the all-powerful wizard, can't be bothered, you know?
Yeah.
And so you play a beanie-wearing peasant with a pickaxe. You had a potato sack over your back where you throw gold nuggets into it, and that, you know, that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's you have an adorable canary, as true to miners fashion. Mm-hmm. Your canary will run around and try to pick up gold nuggets because you find rocks that have gold in them, or there's gold nuggets in the wall, and you hit them with your pickaxe, and they pop like a piñata, and the gold goes everywhere. And when the gold does that, these little blob dudes show up called pilferers, and they try to steal the gold before you can pick it up.
Yeah.
So you and your canary are scrambling to pick up the gold before the pilferers can get it. And they're actually hilarious and adorable because they're all like, oh yeah, let's go! And they're going like, they're all talking and stuff, and like I hit them with my pickaxe and they like do the whole like cartoony like, whoa! And they fly off the screen, you know? So me and the canary are picking up money. That seems to be the canary's function, is to just pick up money. I think you can eventually get more pets.
Yes.
But I have not found that NPC yet.
Yeah, no.
Because you, as you're exploring the mines, you unlock NPCs to come back to the hub area. So I've only made it to the second boss. I have not beaten the second boss. So I'm only, 2 of the probably 5 or 6 stages into this game. Most roguelites, 5 stages is the shtick, you know? So I'm only 2 of the 5 through. I do think it's weird that in the second section there's other humans there that want to kill you. I'm like, did the mine that I'm in suddenly break into someone else's dungeon? And it's like, now I'm enemies of the king?
Doesn't it?
It is a dungeon.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, are we, like, the wizard is trying to break into, like, the king's dungeon? And it's like, and the peasants just don't know. They're like, I was just told to go down here. I mean, I just want to get paid, So it's really great. When you die, your potato sack full of gold pops, and you lose, I want to say, like, half of the gold you were carrying.
Uh-huh.
There are upgrades you can buy at one of the merchants in the beginning. You can buy upgrades that will reduce the amount of gold you lose. Mm-hmm. It does not say how much. I'm sure I could look in the wiki, and it would say, like, oh, hey, every thing is like you lose 1% less money or something like that.
Oh, 1%. So not worth it.
Well, I bet you it's something like that, though, because it doesn't want to add up to, like it'll be impossible to make it so that you don't lose all your money.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of, like, I feel like with these kind of games, like, it encourages you to play it again and again and again and again and again and again. So they don't want to give you any big improvements. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and all of the improvements, they get more and more expensive as you go. So like I've bought like two upgrades to how far I can throw my pickaxe because it boomerangs back to me.
Yeah.
You can buy upgrades to how much damage you did, how much health you have, stuff like that. But yeah, so like you all those kind of upgrades, damage you deal, how much gold, reduce how much gold you lose, how much health you have. There are other shop people as well, so you can like improve how much damage your bombs do, because that's kind of the random currency you find throughout the dungeon. Mm-hmm. You'll find bombs and keys.
Yeah.
So you'll either find like hidden walls that, like in Zelda style, where you put a bomb down and it blows open a door. And you're like, oh look, or you find a thing with a lock on it. And it's like, well, I hope I have a key so I can open the door, because these are all skeleton keys.
Yeah.
Or they're all made by like the same locksmith.
Yeah.
so it's got that going. It does have you find relics as you go. So like how like Enter the Gungeon and stuff would have it where you find different guns that do different things. In this, you find different relics that do stuff, and they provide random buffs and or debuffs. Sometimes it's kind of a trade-off. So like I remember I found one that would cause my pickaxe, if I threw him, he would ricochet. So like if there was like 5 enemies in the room, I'd throw it at one, and it would hit him, and then go ping, 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 like a pinball machine.
Yeah.
And then come back to me, which is cool, but also kind of annoying if there's a lot of bad guys, because I can't swing my pickaxe at baddies if it's flying through the air.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to just evade as long as possible until your pickaxe comes back.
Yep. It's really cool. And then I found one, like my favorite one so far has been called Gold Popcorn, where whenever you break a gold vein, right, and gold pops, there is a chance that when the gold nugget hits the ground, it will reproduce.
Yeah.
And so I had one gold nugget that like popped, and he landed, and then popped again, and landed, and popped again, and landed, and popped again, and he went like 5 times, and I'm just scrambling to fight off the pilferers, like, no, don't take my money.
Let it continue multiplying.
It's like, let him go. So, like I said, there's a ton of them. They have a cool mechanic where you can get curses, but every time you get a curse, it's kind of it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
So you always get something good from it. Like you get like a bomb bag, so you get like 3 or 4 bombs, or you get a bunch of keys, or you get a relic. Mm-hmm. But you'll also get a curse. And the curses are the anti-relics, basically, where it's like, okay, well, with this one, all the items in a merchant's shop cost more. Because, in roguelike fashion, I'm gonna do it. In roguelite fashion, there's always like a random merchant you can find as you're going, and they'll sell like food and random items you need for the run. So like one curse makes things more expensive. I got one curse that if I jumped, because jumping is like the only evasive action you can take, you can't like roll or anything. If you jump, when you land, you'll take some damage.
Oh.
So there are a bunch of different curses. It gets kind of crazy. It's all over the place. I honestly really like it. Like I know there is a lot more to this game, and I'm gonna keep playing it.
Yeah.
Because it was really exciting. It was one of the ones we found on, I think you found it on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week where I was at my parents' and I was trying to play one of the Xbox Game Pass games on my tablet. It was this one, and it didn't work out very well on the tablet. We got to like the first like 4 rooms that you go into when you first play the game are like little tutorial rooms, and I think I got to the room where there's a bat flying over a pit, and it's telling you to throw your axe at them to hit them because they won't come over land. And it's like, hit right bumper. And I looked at the screen, and there was no button for right bumper. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I can't play this then.
Yep. So yeah, so you suggested it, and I installed it right away. And love at first sight. Yep. But yeah, UnderMine, it's fantastic. Like, I had heard of this game a long time ago. There's a YouTuber I like called Dangerously Funny. Yeah. And he played a bunch of this. And
probably when it came out, because it says August 6, 2020.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It's relatively new.
Yeah, so it probably had to have been he played a bunch of it when it first came out, because he does a bunch of roguelikes. Roguelites. And I always thought he was funny, and I was like, I thought the game looked interesting, but our backlog is immense.
It is,
and we have so many games to play. But, yeah, I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. this is one of the ones that I'm really excited that now you have Game Pass as well. Mm-hmm. So now there's like a whole bunch of like, just opens up a whole new world of possibilities for us to do like multiplayer things on Game Pass games.
Yeah.
Because the Game Pass thing also works on PC.
Yes.
So it's like, hey, you want to download this game? We can play it together. It's like, no, Nick, let's just play Stardew Valley. It's like, okay.
Or Minecraft. We need to go back to our Minecraft server too.
We have so many things to work on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing we don't have a dedicated server set up for Minecraft. Someday, though, when I get a new PC and old Betsy here,
Betsy.
We're not going to retire her. She is prime to be a gaming server.
Uh-huh.
We just have to invite our cousin over, Chase, so that he can come and teach me how to make this work. Because we tried. And it's hard. I'm not a smart man. So I really liked it. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay, so those were our two games. So Erica played Rituals, and I played UnderMine. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, I kept calling it UnderMiner, and I think that's Jacob's fault, because he saw me playing it on Xbox, and he texted me like a meme of the Underminer from Incredibles.
Yeah.
I am the Underminer! And I was like, aw, it's me. But so the game, the board game that we played this week is a little different. I mean, it's still a tabletop game.
Yes.
He is more of a dexterity game, I think is the term.
Yes.
Which I'm horrible at because no dexterity. The game that the board game, tabletop game that we played this week is called Beasts of Balance.
Yes.
So this was designed by George Buckingham and Alex Fleetwood. Mm-hmm. The art was done by Tim Burrell-Saward, Lyle McCarthy, and Chris Shaw. Published by Modern Games and Sensible Object.
Yes.
So this game was pretty darn interesting. Erica, you want to start off with the game? With some basics?
Yeah, so the game is the game is app enabled, so you have to have some kind of smart device to connect this to. We'll use tablet, you can use your phone. But basically what you get in the box is a whole bunch of plastic
shapes,
yeah,
and animals.
Shapes and animals. So I think we just got the base game, and it came with like a boar and an eagle and a shark and a few other animals, and then a whole bunch of random little shapes. Also, what comes in the box is this little like plinth, like a little, I don't know what, I'm assuming it's called a plinth. I think they called it a plinth. The plinth, it comes with, you need batteries for, and this connects to your tablet or phone or whatever via Bluetooth. And it has basically like a little RFID scanner in it. And each of the little plastic objects have an RFID token in them. So the whole game is you're trying to balance as many of these beasts on this little plinth as possible. And the game knows which ones you have or which ones fell off or anything like that based on the weight and then the RFID tag that you scan. So before you place it on the little tabletop thing, you scan its icon against the icon on the plinth, and it'll say, okay, the app will say, okay, you're placing the boar, go ahead. And so you place it on, and it's like, cool, a boar has joined your world. And the app is all about like this little world that shows land, water, and air. So those are like the three
like regions. Elements?
Yeah. Yeah, that your animals can go in. So a boar would be on the land, a shark would be in the water, birds are in the air, obviously. And it's all about populating your world and not letting your animals die out. So each of them are worth different points. And if like the boar is worth 8 and the shark is worth 10, every time you add something, the boar is going to continue to lose points because the shark is better than it. And so it feels sad. It loses points. That's the only way I can reason it, because the shark's not like eating the boar or anything. It's just like, I'm not the alpha creature, so I'm sad.
Yeah, because I think that's basically what the gist is, though, right? It's that whatever the highest point creature is, they stay the highest point creature.
Yes.
And everything else just slowly drains until it dies.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and your animals can go extinct. There are things you can do to try to stop that. So some of the shapes that it comes with are crosses and little arrow shape guys.
The arrow shapes almost look like those little like
signposts.
I was gonna say the little licky sticks from Fun Dip, but
Oh.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But sure, as the signposts make more sense, yes.
I'm thinking of like the little signposts where it's like an arrow pointing this way, like, oh, this way to the Cabbage Patch, and this way to...
With like movies where someone would spin the sign so that it points somewhere else. It's like,
yeah.
Haha, they'll go that way thinking it's Buckingham.
Yeah, that stereotypical signpost type thing.
Yes.
So the little arrows, they migrate your animals from one biome to another. So what's important is when you're using these, they're on the tablet screen, there's like a little firefly floating around, and it'll float around the animals that you have in your world, and whichever one it's floating on at the moment, that's the one that will be affected by the arrows and the crosses. So for the arrows, whatever animal is being focused on for the moment, it will move them to a different biome. So if it's a boar, it could, put it into the ocean and make it some weird animal. It has weird names, and there's like a little like encyclopedia of animals that
it's almost like
unlocked.
A Pokédex.
Yeah, and so it encourages you to go through and try to unlock all of them. But it'll transform them, and then they might get more points because they're in the water now or whatever. So that's a way you can help try to save them.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the cross, which it will crossbreed two animals on your world, like a boar and a shark. And then it's like some kind of shark boar thing. And usually the crossbreeds are stronger than the original animals. So again, you're trying to balance trying not to kill off all your animals.
Well, because I think the crossbreed doesn't necessarily get rid of the OG types. It just makes a whole new animal that is half shark, half pig.
Yeah.
And now he's the alpha predator, and the rest of them are going down still.
Yeah. And then the last thing that is in the box are some, well, I guess not the last thing, but there are also some very oddly shaped pieces in the box that are like little flame looking things, or a little like diamond weird. They're very oddly shaped, and the whole purpose is so that it's hard to stack, because every time you're playing one of these, you have to be able to stack it onto the tower and continue building onto it. And
it's kind of like a reverse Jenga, almost, right? So instead of taking things out of the stack, you're trying to make the biggest, grandest, sturdiest stack you can make.
And so you have to keep everything on, and if something falls off, it'll give you like 10 seconds before the volcano erupts and destroys the world to get everything back on the stack, which is doable if it's like one or two things, but if like the whole thing goes, like there's no way.
10 seconds is not a long time.
No, it's not. But yeah, so you're having to balance all these things, and so these other things, they're like weird, oddly shaped like diamond cube type things, and they've got colors on them, and the colors, so these are like boosts to whatever colors are on them. And so the colors, there's a light blue, a dark blue, a green, and orange. Orange will boost whichever animal the firefly is currently on. The green will boost the land types, the dark blue will boost the ocean types, and then the light blue would boost the air types. And so that is also another way to have your animal scores go up and keep them from going extinct.
Are all your land people about to die? Well, play the green thingy. Give them points.
Yeah, and so it's a lot of fun. It's really hard to get everything on. I think the first couple of times we tried, we didn't get like nearly anything on, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna do this, and I got quite a bit. I made
like 500 points the first time I did it, and then you got like 1,500 or something. You were like, I'm gonna go.
And then there are a few kind of like challenge pieces. There's one that looks like a bundle of like sausages.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know what else to compare it to.
I think that one on top of it being a horribly shaped piece, it gives you an additional challenge on the tablet. I believe that's what that one does.
I think so, yes.
Where it'll ask you to do things every so often, where it's like, oh, tap on the moon, and you have to tap on the moon, and if you miss them, then the game ends too. So that makes it more complicated. And then the last thing is like some weird like squiggly handle type thing.
It's like
and
a
that
big
one,
worm, like you just...
Yeah, and I think that one gives you a time limit to how fast you have to put stuff on the tower.
Yeah.
So before you use this, you have unlimited time to put stuff on the tower. You could sit there for like hours and think about how this is going to fit in. But with this, it gives you a time limit. So now you're not only in a rush to, not have everything fall off and, only have 10 seconds to put stuff back on, but you're also in a rush to actually put stuff on in the first place.
Yeah. But the benefit of doing those challenge guys is that they'll bank all the points you're losing.
Yeah.
Because your score is constantly going down as your not alpha animals
feel sorry for themselves
and start wasting away.
Yeah.
All the points that they're losing suddenly goes into like a cloud.
Yeah.
And the cloud is the challenge cloud,
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, you get to keep those points. They don't go away. Even if all the animals go extinct, well, all your points are in the bank.
Yeah.
You just have to keep touching the moon.
Yeah. Oh, hey, tap this button again. Did you forget to tap the button? Yeah. And there was one time too where it's like I had the time limit and the other challenge thing, so it was like keep tapping, like press and hold on the moon while you're placing your next piece. And so one hand was over there trying to hold the button, and the other one was trying to balance the thing on the tower in 10 seconds or whatever. That was fun.
So it's a really interesting game. This was one of the ones I think you found this guy because you're the OG Yogscast viewer.
Yeah.
And you got me into the Yogscast. And I think they still run it. They used to have a YouTube series that was Game Night. Mm-hmm. And they would play a different board game every day, week.
Yeah.
Some time period. And they played this guy back when he first came out, which was, 2016?
Yeah, they did it when it was a Kickstarter project.
That's right, because Duncan was a big fan. To the point that I think they even made him his own
they were
creature.
Also a big fan of Duncan. They made him his own little character. And that's one thing about this game. The reason I came back to it is because I was scrolling through Kickstarter, and they had a Kickstarter up for expansions. And so, like I was saying, the box comes with a few different types of animals and shapes and crosses and stuff. And eventually I think you could get skilled enough to be able to balance them all on there at the same time. So what the expansions do are it adds different animals, it adds different challenges and things like that. So based on the expansion, you get different animals and different creatures and different combinations. And that's how I found this one again. They had like 2 or 3 new expansions coming out.
Yeah, I remember that. In the Kickstarter, it was one of those ones where you can choose which of the expansions do you want or get the Mega Deluxe Edition to get all of them. And I think this was one that we missed. Because I mean, obviously it's done now, but I think when we saw it, we were like, let's get the game, like the base game. We can't start expansions without playing the base.
Yeah, we didn't even know what the base game itself was. So this one is a fun one. It's not something that we usually play. We don't play a lot of dexterity-based games. And that's something I had noticed, too, when I was looking through Kickstarter one day, is that there aren't a lot of them. There were a few. There was and this one was one of them that I was like, hey, you know what? We haven't played a dex-based game. Let's try this. Why not?
Well, yeah, because you mentioned that, and then I started looking. I remember I saw one on there. I'm sad I can't remember the name now, but it was like each player builds a little castle out of blocks, and then you each have little catapults that you launch, and it's who can knock down the other person's castle first.
Yeah, that just seems like a game you would play as kids, like build a Lego tower and see who can break the other ones first.
Exactly, but this guy, outside of his Kickstarter, Beasts of Balance already has quite a few expansions. Like I think when we ordered ours, it was like a bundle. It came with some other stuff that we haven't tried out yet. It came with it has like a battle mode now, where you can do a competitive 1v1 kind of match, is what it seems like, where you have little RFID cards that do attacks, I guess. So it'd be like Pikachu lightning bolt, is what it seems like. We haven't opened up that guy yet, but I am really excited to try him out. It also came with a random creature called the Omni Beast.
Yeah.
Which
we haven't used.
He looks like some weird, like, panda, octopus, walrus combo thing. He looks interesting. I mean, he looks like he'd be interesting to stack things on top of him.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to open those up. So the one that we came with that. I mean, I guess the game has been out for several years, so of course it's got like some bundles that you can get.
Yeah.
So it says 15 to 30 minute playtime. I think that's fair. Because like this is the kind of thing, 1 to 5 players, you could just have it go around the table where each person takes a turn playing one token. I think that's how it's meant to be played.
I think that's right, yeah.
So I think it's interesting. I'm really excited. Age is 7. I think my niece is 7.
Yes.
I think my niece is 7. Yeah, so like next time we go and see them, we'll have to bring this along. I'm sure that the whole group would get a kick out of this.
Yeah.
So this one is relatively new to our game closet.
Yeah, we've only played it a few times that we've trying to beat our own high scores.
we have to make sure that we're good at it before we bring other people in.
Yeah, like
so
we
they don't
can't,
totally
like,
show us up.
Exactly, we can't just bring a new game and be like, oh, you know, I really suck at this game, but let's play it, and then they just beat you. You can't do that. You need to at least know what's going on first.
But yeah, so Beasts of Balance, pretty cool. Honestly, really interesting. If you like Jenga, if you think building a tower instead of taking a tower down is your cup of tea, I would totally recommend this game. Very interesting. It's just a neat way to think about stuff, honestly.
Yeah, and I think, too, the app had, like, daily challenges that you could go in and do. I don't think we were able to load them when we tried it that one day. But it has something, too, where you would come back to it every day, and it's like, oh, stack so many pieces in a certain amount of time, or use... I think the one challenge we were trying to get was to use all of the boost type cubes, the weirdly shaped guys, and we were trying to strategize how to get them all on there.
Well, because it wanted you to stack all of the boost shapes.
Yeah, and on top of one of another. Like, you couldn't just, like, make a little mound of them. Like, it wanted it to be, like, one on top of the other. Stack all of these really weird shapes.
There's no way. I can barely stack all the creatures on there. You want me to stack all of the hard shapes?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it did have a lot of stuff to challenge you every day. Mm-hmm. So, and then like you said, it also had the Pokedex. So like it has the try goofy things and try to make special creatures so that you can fill out your Pokedex.
Yeah.
Got to catch them all. But ton of fun. We will have links in the field notes to this guy. I'm pretty sure you can get him on like Amazon for a reasonable price, probably like $50 to $60. I'm betting. Yeah, so a ton of fun. All right. So now that we have talked about our video games, Rituals, and UnderMine, and our board game, Beasts of Balance, it's time for Kickstarter Corner. So. In our weekly episodes, we have been talking about Kickstarter projects that we have been backing and are super excited to back. I think we're going to have to kind of tone it back on Kickstarter Corner and maybe do like every other week or something, because it turns out backing a ton of projects gets expensive.
Yeah, it's that, and it's just trying to pace ourselves. There's a lot of things that we have out there that we're waiting to come in, and it feels kind of disappointing to just keep backing stuff and not see projects out all the way to the end. So maybe we'll change it into more of an update about some of our favorite projects, or like you said, just change it to what we talk about stuff when we back them, if we find something that we want to back at the time. Yeah. But yeah, we definitely need to slow that down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like, we'll come back to it, and if there's a major update, like, oh, hey, this one game that I backed, I got the alpha access code for it.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Like, we'll tell you about the alpha and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But doing a here's the new project every week, while there are always Kickstarters.
Always, yes.
And I have a feeling that we'll probably try to do a better job about shouting out Kickstarter projects on, like, our Twitter.
Yeah.
And maybe Instagram, being like, hey, guys, this looks really cool. Go check it out. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at Unearthing Games.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're going to try really hard to shout out projects because we see them all the time. That's probably the most opened app on my phone, if I'm being honest.
Kickstarter?
Next to Discord. So, yeah. So those are the major ones. So this week I don't have one. My bank was getting worried about me. They were like, "Hey, there's been a lot of charges to this one place. Are you spending this money?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." So I slowed down, but Erica did back a project this week. Erica, tell us about the project you backed.
Yes, so this is probably one of the last ones I'll back for a little bit, but this is Rock Runners Inc. This is a card game for 2 to 4 players by Scott Johnson. This has 16 days to go as of recording. It'll be done on May 5th, so you'll still have plenty of time once the episode actually comes out. It'll be less than 16 days, but still plenty of time. And I found this one because I've followed Scott Johnson on Twitter for a long time. I used to listen to a few of his podcasts, and I just like following his art. He'll add daily sketches and stuff. He's a really good artist. So this game is a card game for, and it's based off of a card game called 99, and I've never heard of that card game before. But I had mentioned it, or not mentioned it, I had seen it recently on Reddit. Someone was talking about card games, and they talked about 99 and how it's a really fun game. And I had already backed this at that point. And I was like, oh, what a coincidence. Someone else is talking about 99. But the original 99 is supposed to be able to be played with a regular deck of cards, like just a regular deck of cards that you could play. So this one is based off of that. And it's like kind of like a drawing, like a... I don't know how to call it really. The post that I had read about it kind of equated it to like hearts or spades or those types of games. And so in this one it says the rules are simple. Anyone could win the most space credits and nab the greatest intergalactic contracts. The object of the game is to be the last player to make a play and earn a space credit. And then it says that games can be played in, a best of 5 to determine the ultimate winner. But it's basically, I guess, the number is... So 99 is what you're trying to get to. And each round, a person will play a card and say how many are on that stack now. So if I played a 5 and I'm the first one, I would say 5. And in this version, they're doing space rock. So it's 5... I think it's like tons of space rock. And you have to keep going until you get up to 99 and if you can't play a card, then you lose. So if it's at 97 and you don't have a 3 or anything that wouldn't push it over the 99, then you lose, is my understanding.
Okay.
But I'm really excited. I wanted to back this mostly because I've followed Scott Johnson for a long time, and I really wanted to back this. It seems like a fun game. I'm all up for card games, especially ones that it's a deck of cards. You can just take it wherever. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. The art, of course, is amazing because it's Scott Johnson.
See, and I had never heard about Scott Johnson until this. I mean, like, the name sounds familiar, but, I mean, I hate to say it, but the name Scott Johnson sounds like it would be like Adam Smith, like it's a common name.
Yeah,
you know? But I mean, like, I see his profile picture here on the Kickstarter, and I have to say he looks familiar. Like, maybe I have seen some of his stuff. I'm sure I've seen some of his stuff. Mm-hmm. But this sounds pretty cool. It sounds like something right up our alley where it's a simple, fast, competitive game. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's our bread and butter. Like, we love games that are hyper competitive but also hyper quick.
Yes.
Like, if you can have it where, like, we are on the edge of our seats for, like, just a 10-minute round that's like, oh gosh, I'm gonna beat her, Yeah. And then Erica still wins. Honestly, I'm all for that. That's like I said, that's our thing.
Yeah.
So, and apparently this is a lot of other people's things. 732 or 31 other people's thing as well. Because I mean, I'm the 32. That's you, Erica.
Yes, I am that 32nd
person. So if you want to bet on a sure thing, bet on this guy. He is
and
35 35,000, right? 35,000 out of the wanted 5,000. So,
yeah, and he has fulfilled another Kickstarter before, and I think it's an add-on for this one where he drew art for like 5 different decks of cards, and so they're all custom art based on his art. And he had fulfilled that Kickstarter earlier, and I think you can still get these cards. Like
it's an add-on for this project kind of thing. Do you want those decks? Hey, throw in an extra 20 and we'll give it to you.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
So Rock Runners Inc. There's a t-shirt on here on this Kickstarter that you need to find out if that's an add-on. Can we like go ahead and get that add-on for Jacob? It just says, got rocks. And Jacob loves geology. So
yeah.
Rocks? I know there's more to geology than rocks, but rocks?
Yeah.
So we need to get this shirt for Jacob. Hopefully when he listens to this podcast episode, maybe he smiles a little bit, thinks, Nick, geology's not just rocks, it's also dirt. Who knows?
Okay.
But whatever goes on with him. But yeah. So that's been our episode. We talked about our games. We had Rituals, we had UnderMine, Beasts of Balance, and then our sweet Kickstarter project for the week, Rock Runners Inc. Super excited about that. We will have links to everything we talked about in the field notes below, so check those out. You can also find the field notes at our website at unearthinggames.com. That's going to be it for us for today.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you guys next time. Toodles.
Bye.
If you're digging the Unearthing Games podcast, give us a positive rating on your podcast directory, or give us a thumbs up on the YouTube channel. Share the podcast with your DM, or your local game store owner, or your dog, or even check out our website, unearthinggames.com. If you have any suggestions for games you'd like to hear us talk about, or maybe even play, email us at unearthinggamespodcast@gmail.com. The Unearthing Games podcast is recorded in front of a live puppy audience. All borks, ruffs, jingles, and squeaks are completely original and not added in post.